Did you know that the sport of lacrosse has been around since the 1600s and is originally played by Native Americans? Today, Today it's mostly a male-dominated sport, but the rules have been accommodated to fit women's lacrosse, which I've been playing since middle school and it's about 10 years ever since. So today I'll inform you about the basics of lacrosse, what equipment's needed, the fundamentals of playing lacrosse. Then I'll explain the game from midfielders, offensively, and defensively. So let's get on to the techniques and basics to the lacrosse. So equipment that you'll need to play lacrosse is going to be a goggles, which is used to protect your face from the balls, which are pretty hard. Then, of course, you're going to need a lacrosse stick. And you'll also need cleats and a mouth guard. Next, we'll move on to the techniques needed to play lacrosse. So the main techniques needed to play is going to be involved cradling, passing, catching, ground balls, and scoring. So cradling is what we use most. Cradling is equivalent to dribbling the ball up and down the court. So cradling is to have your stick in a comfortable position. I tend to have mine like this, and you're going to have a across the body motion, sweeping to make sure that the ball does not fall out while running up and down the field. Next, you have your passing and catching, which is also essential to the game. Just like it's pretty explanatory, you're going to row with your stick to pass, and you're going to kind of give in with your stick to catch the ball. This goes the same well for scoring. When scoring, you're going to have the same motion as passing, just going to make it a little bit more direct to your target and more force. And then lastly, you have your ground balls. Ground balls are essential in the game because it's basically any time the ball hits the floor. This is when passing falls out, an interception, or just playing out, a goalie rolls out the ball. You need ground balls in order to catch them. So next on, we'll move on to the midfielders aspect of the game. So midfielders are the ones who control whether or not you're going to have a defensive play in the beginning or an offensive play. And if you have four midfielders who are on the circle, and you have the person in the middle who's your center and does the draw. The draw is essentially the same as a tip-off in basketball. So let's move on to the offensive side. So you have three offensive players who stay at the home side to play offensively. You also have midfielders that transition over to the offensive side to play. So in offense, your main goal is to make sure that you're able to successfully shoot and make a score. A lot of this involves passing, catching, and ground balls. Next, we'll transition on to the defensive side. So in defense, you have three defensive players, and you also have your goalie. And then you also have people from the midfield traveling down from offensive side to defense side to defend and protect your goalie. The main goal, so the goalie is the person who makes sure that no scores are taken on them. Nobody's allowed inside the goalie's crease but the goalie. And during the defensive side, we're all sitting here for trying to protect the goalie. In defense, we have a technique called checking to better ensure defensive play. So check is basically an up and down moment, like an actual check that you hit on someone's stick to make sure that the ball comes out and I guess you can make a score if you're on the offense side, or on the defensive side, you're able to do a turnover. Overall, you have learned the history of lacrosse and how far it dates back and how much it's changed as a women's sport compared to a men's sport. And then by the time you finish this today, you should be able to pick up a stick and at least try to play some lacrosse.